Welcome back to Washington Watch. I'm Tony Perkins, your host. We are broadcasting live from the International Religious Freedom Summit here in Washington, D.C. It is going on today and tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow at lunch, we'll be presenting a new report. I'll talk about that tomorrow. But I mentioned it earlier with Ambassador Brownback, how we're seeing this rise of authoritarianism in Western governments. And how can we protect abroad and promote abroad what we're not protecting here at home? So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. By the way, don't miss your opportunity to partner with FRC. We're coming up to the end of our fiscal year tomorrow, and we need to finish the year strong, our fiscal year strong, so that we can face the challenges and seize the opportunities that are ahead. I mean, we got a lot of opportunities. Folks are standing by to take your call, 800-225-4008, or you can visit TonyPerkins.com. Earlier today, a group of Senate Republicans led by Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri sent a letter to the U.S. Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, renewing their call for him to immediately reverse his decision last year to remove Nigeria's designation as a country of particular concern, a decision they called misguided. And I would echo that. I mean, during my time on the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, I've now rolled off that commission. I was term limited, but we spoke to the secretary, we spoke to the ambassador to Nigeria, pleading with them to put this country back on the list of countries of particular concerns. The senators noted that Secretary Blinken and other State Department officials have made public statements condemning the recent bloodshed in Nigeria, yet still do nothing officially in regards to the African country as a severe violator of religious freedom. With more and more attention being given to Nigeria, including at this week's International Religious Freedom Summit, might we see a reversal? Well, with me now to talk about this is Gloria Puldu from Nigeria. In fact, Gloria is one who I've known. How long have we known each other, Gloria? Yeah, 4 years, because she has been working to help bring attention to Leah Sherbu, who was my prisoner of conscience at USERF, and one that I've been praying for almost every day since she has been in captivity. And then also joining me is Lela Gilbert, who just today, she's at the Family Research Council, our senior fellow for international religious freedom. She and General Boykin released a new book, Heroic Faith, and a lot of this is actually focused on what's happening in Nigeria. So ladies, welcome to Washington Watch. So let me just start, Gloria, with you in terms of this. I want to start first, no changes with Leah, but I want to ask how her family's doing.
Rebecca and Nathan are doing good, and they're just hanging in there and trusting the Lord to fix the problem.
Yeah. Lela, let's talk about Nigeria as a whole. You've been tracking that country very closely. I mean, we just had another attack. We've had they're nonstop.
Right.
Give us the latest.
Well, the latest was the most obvious was on Pentecost Sunday in this church in Udo. Yes, it was attacked by several terrorists who some were disguised as parishioners. They killed 41 people. It's a large Catholic church, and it was packed. And it was just such a carnage that the bishop, we've spoken to him, says it was unimaginable to see what happened. He got there in time to see before it was cleaned up. It was just violence.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is an area that hasn't seen a lot of violence.
That's correct. It's an area, it was the first time in that area. It was Fulani jihadis, and it was really a statement, in my opinion.
Now, did they not travel this is another part of the country.
Right.
So this was exporting the violence from the South.
That's right.
Moving it up to this area. So this, as you said, is a statement.
Yes, Owo, it's in Ondo State, and it's in the southern part of the country. Boko Haram had been raging their terrorist activities in northern Nigeria.
Right.
Then in 20
18, we had the Fulani jihadists, who we believe are completely the same with Boko Haram. They started doing that in the north central part of Nigeria, where you have the Plateau, Benue, Taraba, Adamawa, and all those states. Then they moved now, since we've been talking and complaining that they are moving forward since they are not being stopped. Now they have moved to the southern part of Nigeria, and that's where Owo is. It's in the southwestern part of Nigeria.
And what has the government's response been?
Well, so far, I think it's only the vice president that I saw visited that scene, and the usual rhetorics. It is sad. We are on top of the situation, and we are going to do something about it. But this has been going on for years. We've been here speaking,
Right.
Yes, we've been crying out that, look, this thing is happening in the north central part, not eastern part of Nigeria. It has moved to the north central part of Nigeria. It can engulf the entire Nigeria, a population of over 200 million people. And this is exactly what is happening.
And Lela, to her point, 200 million people. Nigeria is the most populous African country. It is experiencing this violence that's creating refugees,
Yeah.
and potentially could be another genocidal event, which could destabilize the entire African continent.
That's absolutely right. In fact, I saw Congressman Frank Wolf just 2 days ago, and he said, we need to start calling this genocide. We need to say that's what we're dealing with. It's not just persecution, it's genocide. And he said before, it's an economic powerhouse. It's not just a large population. This
Right.
is one of the most powerful, perhaps the most powerful country in Africa.
But if this continues, and we know what comes in the wake of war and terrorism,
Right.
you then have famine, poverty, and you have spilling over into Europe.
Well, the refugee situation will be nightmarish. I mean, it's already a problem. But yes, you're absolutely right. And our country's been very remiss in not having foresight about this. I do not understand why the country of particular concern designation has changed. And I don't know anyone that does understand.
Right. Well, I certainly don't. I mean, we finally, after many years of recommending Nigeria as a country of particular concern, the Trump administration took our recommendation at USERF and did just that. And of course, just so our viewers, listeners understand, a country of particular concern, either the government engages in the systematic, egregious, ongoing violation of religious freedom, or they tolerate it. In this case, we're talking about the latter, where the Nigerian government isn't in particular doing these crimes, but they're not stopping it. They're allowing it to happen.
And Tony, since 2020, when you first of all placed the Nigerian government or the Nigeria as a state on the watch list,
Right.
and then stepped it up to country of particular concern, we knew that the Nigerian government were beginning to feel, yes, the international communities are watching us, and so let's see how we can
So it
respond.
helped.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden, towards the end of 2021, it was removed. And as I speak to you today, the courage for these terrorists to be able to attack into the southern part of the country is because they have seen the removal of CPC as a thumbs up. So it's like the international community has turned its face away from what is happening in Nigeria, and let's continue. And so the Nigerian government really needs to be held responsible, and Nigeria needs to be placed back on that CPC list.
So Gloria, you're saying that designation matters.
Yes, it does. It does. Absolutely matters. If you look at the statistics, the crime rates and the atrocities have spiked up since after the removal.
So what are Christians? What are they saying? What are they sensing right now in Nigeria as it pertains to America?
We are absolutely disappointed because I'm just being very frank.
Yeah. No,
When the Nigerian name was removed from that list, it's like sending a signal to these terrorists. And we know that we have been the ones who have been paying a great price. It's the Christian communities that have been displaced. It's the Christian communities that women and their girls are being raped, like Leah Sharibu. She's just a face of those who are being taken on a daily basis. She was the only Christian and she was the one retained. All the other Muslim girls were released, and that's what keeps happening. If they abduct, they can release the others, but then these ones will remain there. And so for us, we need the world to know that they need to pay attention and they need to hold our government accountable. So we were absolutely disappointed the fact that Nigeria was removed on that list.
What I observed from this in the tragic events that keep occurring, that you think at some point this is going to shock the United States into some type of action. But what I do find remarkable is that in the midst of that, the Nigerian Christians are not walking away from their faith. They're being strengthened in their faith. They're continuing to gather in their churches, even though they become targets.
We just heard from the bishop recently that he said, don't think any of this will destroy our Christian faith. It makes us stronger. And it was so inspiring because he was on the scene there in less than 20 minutes to see what really happened. But he said it will never destroy the Nigerian Christians' faith. It will strengthen us, and we will continue to pray. And this is where we need to step in and pray. And we need to be humbled by this kind of faith. I can't imagine confronting that in one of our churches.
You know, we are just grateful for the churches here because we know that we have received a lot of support from the churches praying. We have received a lot of people who are like you, backing us up and saying, we are standing with you. And that is keeping us going. So from America, we want to say thank you to the churches.
Well, Gloria, that actually, I'm going to go ahead and ask this question because that sets it up. How can the churches here in the United States, you know, we have a lot of issues here in our own country right now under this administration, but we cannot neglect it, that we have brothers and sisters in Christ who are being targeted for death simply because they follow Jesus Christ. So how can we be praying? How can we be helping here in the United States?
Yeah, just like I mentioned, thank you for asking this one again. The churches have been praying, and I know we just need more people to be aware of what is happening. More churches need to understand that, look, your brothers and sisters are going through this persecution. Nigeria is the worst place for a Christian to live.
Yes.
That's what
Yes,
it's
I know.
on record.
Yeah.
So every church on earth, and so the American church needs to know that, look, your brothers are going through hell. You need to pray for them. You need to reach out to them in whatever position you find yourself. Do what you need to do to make sure that that terrorist act, that agenda of, ensuring that over 200 million secular state is being turned into an Islamic jihadist country must be stopped.
And folks, I do want to encourage, especially, we've got a lot of pastors listen to our program. I really would encourage you to take, it's just one Sunday a month, or just a little bit in every Sunday, praying for the international community and putting Nigeria at the top of your list. Gloria is not exaggerating. Nigeria is probably the most dangerous place to be a Christian when you look at the total number of attacks that are taking place. Clearly, we know China's bad. We know North Korea is a bad place. But we're seeing this systematic targeting of Christians in Nigeria, and the government is turning a blind eye to it. So we need to be praying, standing with them, and advocating on their behalf with our government. Because as you just heard, Gloria testified that the CPC status, the country of particular concern status that we put on them when I was at USERF, made a difference. Lela, before we run out of time, I wanted to give you a chance just to talk about your book, Heroes of the Faith, which talks a lot about Nigeria.
It does. A lot is devoted to Nigeria because we've come to know and love many Nigerians that have spoken to us. But the book covers Asia, Africa, which is also a bloodbath in other areas as well, and it's getting worse, increasingly worse, with nobody intervening. And then Middle East, we've looked at that closely. We have commentary, which I think is very useful from General Boykin. who gives us perspective as to how this belongs in the world picture, which we haven't seen much in these kinds of books before. I
Right.
think it's a very good contribution. I did a chapter on Afghanistan too, because it happened
Right.
just as we were finishing.
The book is out.
It'll be out in less than a month.
Okay, so it's
It's available online.
okay. So in fact, I think we've got some links at tonyperkins.com. Gloria, Lela, thank you for joining me today. Gloria, always great to see you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Lela, thank you. Appreciate your great work at F-Force.